depends where you gave your predictions. We'll see how correct you were.
Oh, they'll be correct. Damn it.
Almost.
Halfway there.
Draconis Moon Queen, Ophelia Fade. Once again, the Draconis Moon Queen coming out here from Stay Green. Interesting. Don't want to deal with those carries against tdM. We saw it the first game too.
Yeah.
Keeper of the Force, first lock. Master of Arms, Tempest. The response so far.
And no Wild Soul locked up just yet, but I assume that will change here by one of the teams. And again, it's going to be one of those situations of, I think it's going to be like the same 4 heroes, honestly, and then 2 throwaways or something like that. In SG's case, it might be like a Wild Soul plus something else that's effective, like Bubbles. And then I think it'll be a throwaway by tdM.
Yeah, kind of like we saw last game, remember, where we had the, what was it, the Chronos and the Blitz, I believe, where the 2 locked heroes there. There we go, though. Parasite Wretched Hag, though, going to be locked up, so I don't necessarily think either one of those throwaway by any means. Now the final one from tdM, we'll see. It is going to be Engineer, so yeah, nothing, no throwaways in that sense. I mean, pretty much all sound locks coming out here, all 6 of them. Could definitely see any one of them being played. So,
well, that says that tdM doesn't want to play Wild Soul. They will ban it here in the banning phase, because if they don't, SG is just going to have a very, very easy lineup. Like, they will be able to get a lot of different things. So I'm expecting Wild Soul to get banned out here by tdM in the banning phase. Empath banned out first by SG. And at tdM, they do love to run Empath.
Fitsuke plays a great Empath. We've definitely said that before, and we'll say it again. So kind of a little bit of respect there for sure. Demented Shaman and Zephyr to follow it up. So those 2 go together nicely. And we'll obviously banned up here. Wild Soul, the next one. So you talked about that coming out from Trademark Esports. Don't want to deal with that Wild Soul, especially as a regular pick. So, going to go ahead and just get it off the board. Now, 2 more to go in total, 1 more for either side before we enter that picking stage. So, there's going to be the Tundra actually coming out. Speaking of a hero that, again, just never really see anymore because of, well, just being banned a lot, but also, honestly, seems like it just kind of ignored at times. And now the final one coming out.
Yeah, a lot of teams neglect Tundra, to be honest, and it's just kind of, honestly, it's a little awkward in this metagame as to where to run him. I think he still can be somewhat effective in mid, but against mid lanes where it's very volatile, like Pebbles plus Aluna or something like that, or Pebbles plus Engineer, it's very, very difficult to get any semblance of farm. You can spam out your piercing charge from a long range away, but that's also pushing up the wave away from you. Nymph 4 is the last ban from Minuts. I totally agree with that. Like, the last thing you want to get is quote-unquote Nymph 4 cheesed.
Yeah.
And I think Nymph 4 is not picked up enough, honestly. And the reason is I feel like teams are like they want to force him into some kind of dual lane because normally we always only see 1 support. And because there's so many junglers. Like, you support plus initiator, jungle, suicide, short. And teams feel like they're forced to put him in the mid lane, and honestly, Nymph 4 is very weak in a dual lane with some kind of initiator. But I think you can find him to be effective in like a short lane with a carry and just get free levels up onto him. And I really feel like that's a hero that needs to be first picked a lot more. I really do think that Nymph 4 is so strong, but he's banned out here, and Aluna's going to be the first pickup for SG.
Yeah, and a hero that's standing out to me that's still open is that Pebbles, which is being right-clicked over there by my notes. So. We'll see if that's something that's going to come out for Trademark Esports. Now, with the ban of 4, definitely a hero that you could see alongside him. But nonetheless, actually, Silhouette Deadwood coming out. So once again, tdM going the Deadwood this time. Here on top of the Silhouette carry, of course, and especially with your Draconis Moon Queen being banned. Obviously, Silhouette even more valuable, you can say. So now Stay Green, going to be back to their side. They could definitely go Pebbles themselves, actually, now. So, or maybe even the Rally again. We all know that they like the Rally, too.
Yeah.
So, options here.
Well, it depends on what they are thinking about taking out of that lockpick pool.
As
Probably
always, yeah.
Keeper of the Forest as a suicide, I'm guessing. And so with that being said, if that's what they're going to do, then they obviously don't need to take a suicide. So things like initiators here, Pebbles, like you mentioned. Pebbles would be fantastic here with Luna. And then thinking about maybe... well, I mean, there's some decent short lane carries in there. Like, there's both MOA and Hag. So you have a lot of options, actually, if you're SG. You shouldn't be too worried at this point about getting stuck into a lineup that you're worried about laning, because things are going to be pretty safe from here on out.
Something random. Let's go. Let's go Blacksmith. Probably not.
Would be fun to see a curveball, that's for sure.
Would be fun.
Could see the old Swift Blade Slicks.
Oh, that's true. Very true.
Although that's pretty bad against Deadwood and Silhouette, so no, that would not.
Well, let's hope not now. Let's hope not to see them. All right, so but against Swinnemon's definitely putting some thought
Honestly,
into
Dark
this.
Lady would be so good here. I'm not even
so?
kidding. Dark Lady would be really good, especially against Deadwood. Not able to use any of his spells. Silhouette, it's good against the swap out. They're going to go with Pebbles, and this is the one where it's going to determine their lanes right here.
5 seconds. Going down to the wire here, Swinnemon's. Ooh.
That's going to be an off-lane Magnus, I think.
Suicide Magnus.
They run this a lot, so that tells me I think we're going to see an MOA first pick again, this time from SG. There's a lot of different options for jungles, which means you don't really have to choose yours right now. And if you already have your offlaner, then you don't need to pick up, like, say, Keeper of the Forest.
Huh. Interesting. So now where does tdM go? As far as their options, you think support at this point. You know, maybe grabbing up that Glacius here with your support. Of course, Empath being banned, I would definitely say that as well, but he's being banned. Maybe something like a Torture support if you feel that's necessary. So it is going to be Glacius, yeah. As tdM's final pick. So you're predicting the Master of Arms first pick here, and I can definitely see why. So we'll see what Swinnemelons decides and if he agrees. And no, it's going to be a Keeper.
That's probably going to be a... Well, honestly, it depends on what they value and depends on what they want, because they could go Suicide Keeper still with, like, Magnus plus Engie and then Pebbles plus a Luna. That wouldn't be very much carry, but it would be a lot of early game aggression. Yeah. Or they could go the Suicide Magnus, Keeper in the Forest, dual lane mid, and then the last pick either Hag or MOA, which I think honestly would be a little bit stronger. Plus, especially if you get Hag on, well, really both, honestly. Like, Hag is really, really good with Keeper of the Forest. Those two ultimates synergize quite nicely.
And what this kind of did, it took away. Now, granted, okay, Master of Arms, Wretched Hag, so much for that, Trelf.
Yeah.
That kind of puts. You mentioned the Engineer though. I could definitely still see that kind of even a tri-lane or even a 2-2-1 setup with an Engineer pickup here, but we'll see. I mean, if anything, it will end up being maybe a short lane. Okay, they're going to go Tempest, actually.
They're going to have to go all out early game and team fight.
Yeah.
And I thought it would have had to be the Tempest. I mean, you could go Engineer and try to just get those two dual lanes, but at least now you have you're going to get the experience advantage for sure early on, having the jungle and the Keep of the Forest in the off lane. And, yeah, and you're going to have lots of team fight early on. But clearly they do not have this late game. They're going to have a lot of early game aggression, so hope to see that coming out from SG.
Well, obviously as a spectator, nothing wrong with that. We can be excited for that indeed, and looking forward to seeing what happens here. So stay green, going very aggressive lineup here early on. Will they be able to capitalize? Will they stay alive here in the grand finals? Or will Trademark Esports wrap it up and sweep the series here with a victory in this game? So here we go. Game number 2 officially has begun. Of course, I was going to mention, with the Keeper of the Forest first pick, it did kind of limit tdM now because it's tdM specifically, not as much, but their suicide options weren't as powerful with a lock pool without a Keeper. They go Wretched Hag, though, and of course, Zai plays a great Suicide Hag even, so by all means, it'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, the only thing I worry here now, though, at least early on for tdM, like, yeah, clearly I think they have the late game. No question here, but if they run a straight-up tri-lane up here in the top lane, in the safe lane, they're gonna lose out on a lot of experience. Also, it's up against the Keeper of the Forest, who's obviously very, very good about getting lane control and just simply not dying. So what we're probably gonna see here is a dual lane mid with Limp plus, say, Fitski, and then Minuts and Noobg up in the top lane.
Well, Magnus does get pulled regen here. He gets a health potion on him, and currently acting as if he is going to go the solo mid even. Z-Freak here on this Luna, going to perhaps protecting the ward spot if anything, but obviously the ward was already placed down. Where he ends up is going to be interesting. You would think with the way the lanes are setting up that he would eventually go mid, I guess, but would he?
He has to.
Yeah.
He can't go 1v1 against Wretched Hag, even with pooled regen. And even if he could, if you kind of level out as far as your CS goes, you wouldn't want to because you need to shut down that suicide of Wretched Hag, which means I like this lane setups coming out from SG a lot more than if it was a solo short Magnus.
He does get a deny here in the middle lane as well, so they're really trying to help out Swinnemelons as far as his mid presence. But again, he is in a 1 versus 2, not only on top of that, but against a dual range setup here in Silhouette and Glacius. So Magnus is going to have a difficult time, it's safe to say. And again, this kind of goes where I was getting at, though, with the Luna down here. As Wretched Hag is just going to hide in the jungle. But so you expect Z-Freak to kind of sit down there. Do you ever expect Z-Freak to adjust maybe to mid, or should he just sit down here protecting this Pebbles in the laning phase?
I think you just protect the Pebbles. But the thing is, Zai is already doing a good job about blinking into the trees and just trying to soak up experience. He knows he's not going to get any farm. He gets caught in a stun, he's pretty much dead. And Luna being played by Z-Freak is really like anticipating that. And he already catches actually Zai out off guard. Zai blinks away, and he'll be fine for now. But at the very least, you give him a considerable lead, like a very, very huge lead, until you look about moving around. But what he should do, if he doesn't transfer to mid, at least help check some of the runes. Now, Tempest can do that as well, but you also want your Tempest to farm a lot in the jungle.
Speaking of jungle, I was watching this a little bit. Given the force using those trees, he not only blocked the spawn, the pole spawn, at the 30-second mark with those creeps, but he also did it at the minute mark. So he's done a pretty good job of, despite no word of sight being there, of actually blocking that pole camp. That Master of Arms has definitely been trying to take advantage of, but of course no creeps there, and not much you can do. So some pretty heads-up play coming up from Kaiser. In fact, he might try for it again right here. Here he goes to spawn in the trees, coming up to that 2-minute mark. Not going to necessarily be able to get that lane, actually, as you see. But the one tree goes in the block, and once again, no spawns in that pole camp, so doing a good job of protecting that at least. Glacius going for the top rune. He will freeze Magnus. It is going to be bottom, however, and actually Tempest doing a good job of protecting it as usual with these two teams. Tempest, though, picking up the double damage and actually running into Wretched Hag. This could be trouble. There's this on the Proto on top. One Rod tech, maybe. Yes, it is going to be enough. Wretched Hag falls. The blink was still on cooldown for another couple of seconds. And, well, that's another benefit of rune control, obviously. Bloodlust kill coming out in favor of Chessie.
Yeah, that was kind of a silly blink, honestly, by him. Kept him very, very susceptible. So Zai gets taken out. That is not the start that you want.
Zai usually known for not only just one of the best players in the world, obviously, but great suicide player, and especially with the suicide hack. But yeah, definitely getting caught out right there, and a lot of momentum for our Legion team. Magnus actually stunning in here on a Glacius. Going to put some hero blocks in. It sets up the Glacial Blast, actually. And now Glacius sets up to a Tempest is going to follow first. And actually Glacius will live. So maybe not the best decision, but also well played by Noob G right there, standing up for his Glacius teammate, and ends up getting a counter kill as a result of it.
I think that was just more, I mean, that was great by them, but that was pretty silly decision-making from SG. And now you had such a great start on your Tempest, and it's now basically gone to shit. Like, yeah. I don't want to say forced to get a bottle, because that's, I mean, Minus does it all the time, but he would have had his Ring of Sorcery, like, right now. One of the earliest you could possibly ask for on a Tempest. Yeah. And I know their idea was, oh, I have the double damage, but that faded away, like, right when he started to gank him. So they didn't have enough damage. They had an okay idea, but it just, it was very impractical. So much damage come out on the Swindle.
Yeah, that Relentless Salvo is ridiculous, man. The auto attack damage that comes from it. So yeah, you said it kind of, you said it right there. I like the way you said it. Just in a sense that Tempest is, especially with the Bloodlust kill, all of a sudden just kind of nullified, really. Kind of going to the middle lane there and unfortunately dying and not getting anything out of it. So bottom lane, Pebbles is getting free farm down here. So Stay Green obviously can be very happy with that, being played by Slicks, of course. Meanwhile, at the top lane, though, you have Deadwood doing very similar, if not a little bit better even. On top of that, though, you do have that Silhouette. So you kind of glance at the GPM chart, and that gives you a good storyline of where actually we're at right now in this game. Magnus actually all the way back at base currently, as he's forced to regen and will be forced to walk all the way back. So just even, not that him being here would necessarily scare Silhouette, but less farm on him, and Silhouette could free farm himself. So
and just... Yeah, to go back to the Tempest gank that failed, it really set him back, honestly. Like, you would expect him to be almost, or level 5 right now here, almost level 6. Usually the Tempest is free farming is the top farmer in the game, or top level in the game. He does ding 5 right there, but he could be, like, basically level 6 right now, especially with the full experience that he got from the Bloodlust himself.
Zai taking advantage of this Invis rune, trying to maybe leech some experience or try to maybe even set up a gank into someone with some support. But again, he's only level 2, so don't expect him by himself by any means to do anything. 7 seconds left on the Invis. He's actually going to block this camp right here. Again, it's really just small things that are fun to notice. As he blocks the spawn of the camp, as Tempest was attempting to, so I kind of wonder if Tempest is kind of scratching his head a little bit, like, wait a second, that was supposed to spawn. But Wretched Hag denies it, and now Hag is in the middle lane. And we've seen this before, too, a lot, where you know, when your suicide starts to get locked down to the point of really he's doing nothing in the lane, transition him, you know, maybe set up a gank in the middle lane. Obviously that doesn't happen. Now Wretched Hag going all the way to the top side even. So Zayed is trying to find farm anywhere, apparently just going to go to the yellow camp here and try to get it off of that. So they don't have a jungler, so at least that's the good news.
Well, they do now, and it's Wretched Hag. Typical
True.
Wretched Hag jungling.
True that.
It's not going to get very much, though, until she hits level 3 to have level 2 sonar screen, but she's going to try, and they're abandoning this bottom lane, which means, honestly, more farm for Luna, and which could mean that she should start transferring towards mid as she's walking, I think, there right now. Maybe to look to do some stacking beforehand. Yeah, as she stacks her main pole camp. Camping bottom room, but Glacius is already there ready to get it. It's going to spawn top, though, and actually that rune's going to go to the Silhouette. It's a regen. Maybe saving it for someone else, or no, just going to take it.
Keepers,
yeah.
sorry about that.
Oh, no, I was done.
Oh, I was going to say Keeper the Force, he was actually in a little bit of trouble there. He's kind of lucky that maybe it wasn't a haste rune or something like that from Silhouette, because they could have definitely took advantage of that and maybe dove on him. Granted, I don't know if they had vision. But anyways, he just spawned some more trees and continues to harass. Again, though, this has just ultimately opened up even more so. Limp is just, not Limp, but Slick's here on the bottom lane playing this Pebbles. 100% free farm. He's not being distracted whatsoever. He's having a good time. Obviously, that's showing in the creep farm. 48 and 35 now. So not only maximizing the creep kills, but the denies on top of that. And how much he has? About 1,000 gold saved up already and counting. So the chance for a very, very early on portal key here. So despite Chessie on Tempest maybe being a little bit behind than where he'd like to be, at the same time, again, your Pebbles is up there. And
I don't think Slicks has missed a creep kill.
Is that
it's 53 right now. You get 8 per minute. And it will happen after the minute.
Yeah.
So that's 48 plus the seed creeps. Unless he must have got some creeps from the neutrals.
If it ain't perfect, it's damn near it, and it's showing. So yeah, and again, this goes back to here. Let me do a ping all real quickly. Oh, look at that! Slicks is playing with 95 MS. It is a USC server after all. Chessie is higher, I'm guessing, right?
We'll see if he goes for the Whispering Helm on Pebbles here.
A good old Whispering Helm build. Well, the early Elder Parasite, right? Want to get the hard hitting out there. 15 now, 1,600 gold saved up, so it looks like at this point he might be going for the portal key. Here we go, the ports in the middle lane. The eruption going to be channeled right there. It's going to be frozen though at the last second. Then Falcon punch in the face. However, the nice Stalagmite Stone on top of the Thames, all the way coming out. Deadwood takes the power throw as well, and Deadwood will fall. Holy crap. That was so close to a dead Magnus counter, but in the end, the team support was just there in time, and it ultimately kills Deadwood. So Magnus, not the prettiest right there, especially couldn't get off the eruption, but the job got done, and great assistance coming out from Stay Green.
Well, honestly, that was the slowest ult in the world I've ever seen from Tempest. Like, he almost just watched Magnus die right in front of him. Like, that was a pretty questionable late ulti there by Chessie. It finally ended up going off. But, I mean, that was way too close for me. Like, if I'm a Swindle, I would be so pissed if he did not get that ultimate beforehand.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he gets it off. Plated Greaves are up now on Magnus, so
Whoa,
you can expect a lot of stacking armor coming up in this game. And between the tree and you know, just whatever else they're going to have, the slab skin from Pebbles once he gets that leveled up, it's going to be good against both Silhouette and Deadwood.
Yeah, great against that. On top of that, it goes back to the logic too. Remember, there's no late game presence whatsoever here on Stay Green. This is definitely a lineup around grouping up and pushing and getting involved in team fights earlier on. So definitely an item that can, of course, assist for that. Granted, you know, maybe you'd expect it on something like a Tempest if that was the case. But if anything, because they're dealing with the Deadwood and the Silhouette, getting that armor for yourself specifically is very important. So. Ring of Sorcery just finished on Chessie there. Again, fairly late one, to be honest. But you did get the bottle first, as well as the boots, obviously. There's your portal key. About just over a 9-minute portal key here. Coming out for Slicks. Granted, the courier is not at base just yet, so he will have to wait a little bit to actually receive it. But, yeah, he is got the very early portal key. But, again, it's kind of that question mark now of when do you start doing that whole group up thing? And pushing as a team for Stay Green. Is there, you think, a set time, a set item, or is it just really when it feels right?
Well, probably the portal key from Pebbles, and he does have that, I believe. So he's walking back to base. He's going to have that plus a Homecoming Stone, and that's when you'd hope to see some grouping up. And that being said, I think Tempest should go, honestly, the identical build that Minuts went last game. Now, you don't have... I mean, you can still. I believe you can still throw the log through Shrunken Head, and I believe it will still cancel it.
I believe so, yeah.
And with that logic, you could think, if that was the only thing, that you could go for that portal key shrunken. It would still be fine. But I think this is a game where you don't want to take it late like that at all. In the meantime, Slicks uses that portal key to great use early on. Gets a free kill there on the Minuts with assistance from Case, who doesn't even need to use the ultimate.
Yeah, I thought for some reason actually he rooted first even, but no, he just I think he got a surround on him with the minions. I caught it kind of halfway through, and then obviously that allowed Pebbles to just follow up with E. So right away, taking advantage of the portal key, and this is what you talked about. You know, this may be that timing of we need to not only get a kill, but now group up and make some pushing happen. It is just Keeper and Pebbles, but you say just Keeper lightly, because out come the Tree Dogs just like that, or the Cacti in this case, and that tower is falling. Bottom lane, in the meantime, also a little bit of pressure as Tempest and Aluna were pushing up, but they actually put it to the top lane as they want to commit to even a further push now up here. So it's going to be interesting to see how Trademark Esports responds to this. Do they set up a defense at the secondary tower, or do they maybe just counter push themselves, perhaps at this bottom lane, especially with Tempest and Aluna both porting. Tempest does have an Invis rune, by the way, activated about for another 40 seconds. So just activating it, this could be a good gank setup for Stay Green if they get the opportunity here.
Yeah, it really could. It could be on the Deadwood as well. They got to be fast though, because he's gonna clear out these creeps and then go. Oh, I think Magmus should have stunned. Yeah, there he goes. Magmus with the stun. He's backing away, but his teammates aren't there just yet. So, yeah, he had a good idea, but his teammates were just a little bit too slow. In the meantime, you do have the push coming up top. Pebbles and Keeper the Forest are spamming out the wave, and this tower is gonna fall. tdM doesn't want to have any part of that. They do not want to fight right now, and I think that's a good decision, even though it is their tier 2 tower. Oh no, they do. So Deadwood ports up top to defend that. He's got to be a little bit careful though.
Now, they are. Oh, there we go. There's the combo from Pebbles. Now, Deadwood does have a Mystic Vestments and Steam Boots on Strength, so he easily survives, and the tower will fall. So it was just Deadwood. And in the meantime, the middle tower is also going to fall. So look at that. Stay Green all of a sudden. A 6,500 gold lead, 3,600 experience lead. Now they finally get a counter out. Does tdM of pushing the bottom tower. But I think it's safe to say Stay Green right now, no doubt having the momentum that they were looking for early on and going to keep this going. Because why the hell not? You got all your ultimates to work with. You got some solid group items, the Plate of Greaves, the Ring of Sorceries. This is going to be another tower kill, very likely here.
Yep. Yes, it is. And that actually would have been a kill up top for Slicks, but he didn't have his stalagmites up, so when he jumped in and used the toss, it was just that. So Tempest, he's not going to go for that team fight build. And I say team fight as in, like, items that will... Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Silhouette going to be jumping right there. Offensive Master's Call. Not going to be nearly enough. That was an offensive Master's Call, by the way, and it does not save him. Pebbles in the meantime. He gets counter off it. The Tempest ultimate, though, on top of the eruption, and that is absolutely huge for Stay Green. Sure, they lose Pebbles, but it ends up being a 4-for-1 exchange. Wretched Ag is still alive, obviously. He was even back at basic. I think he might have just ported back, but hell of a Tempest ultimate, and again, even with Pebbles dead, he stays alive. But like I said, too, the offensive Master's Call onto Silhouette when she was getting locked down by Pebbles, that had to be a misclick. I mean,
yeah,
that just seems silly right there. I don't know if it would have saved her in the end. Bat Blast going to be used right there, trying to scare them off, if anything. As it's several heroes, but Tempest still standing his ground. The minions doing plenty of damage, but in the end, Stay Green's going to fall back. Stay Green, though, looking very good here early on.
Yeah, they can look to get 2 other outer towers before they actually push in the high ground. And because their enemy heroes are only like level 9, 7, 6, 6, they respawn rather quickly. Now, notable item pickups, the Blink wasn't even there for Tempest when he had that ultimate. So, it's again, I don't think it's one of those situations where you actually need it, honestly. I feel like if you went just Barrier, Astrolabe, and just be a tanky mess that's sitting there in the front lines, like stunning people. If they go onto you, well, then you have Pebbles to back you up with his own portal key or Keeper the Forest, and you just sit there in the front and just start attacking things and being a man. I don't think you need to have this, I'm sorry, quote-unquote pussy build of having the portal key sitting back and waiting for the right moment. No, it still could easily work out in his favor. But I think that a stronger build, honestly, would be what Minuts did last game.
It's more of a risk, is I think the best way to put it, going the portal key route. So.
Well, what you do with portal key on Tempest is you basically wait for your team to get massacred for a long time until they start grouping, until they get low enough, and then the enemy team groups up. They're trying to get those last auto attacks, and then boom, you jump in with a Tempest ultimate. But what does that mean? Tempest is useless up until that point. So it's still clearly like very effective, especially in HoN because the blink range seems so long and it's very fast. Like it's very fast-paced blink. But I really do feel that like more build-up items for your team specifically would have been a smart
I mean, you look at this right here. If anything, you maybe expected the portal key on Magmus, but he actually goes a tablet build instead with his early on farm. So
yeah, I like it.
Okay,
I think it's a team support item. Not to say that Blink isn't, because you can Blink and counter initiate, but I think this is a more so of a team support item. So things like Barrier, Tablet. what is it? Abyssal Skull would be great on
Yeah.
somebody here, perhaps. And they have the Astrolabe up. Okay, they do have the Astrolabe up on the keeper. Maybe it was that thinking, but even if that was the case, why not like a Sackstone or even just a straight Shrunken Head, just so you can be. I just like the idea of being up in the front lines and being active until you get that 10. Like this build is like I'm all about that 10-bis ultimate, but if you go something else, it's like I have my other spells too.
Deadwood does have his portal key, of course. I don't know how long he's had that actually, but I want to say maybe he's had that for a little bit. Anyways, there's a portal key. Nonetheless, big to note. Sustainer onto Silhouette. So obviously trying to finish that Nullstone here, but another tower is going to be pushed in the meantime. Shrunken Head is also very close to being finished here on Pebbles, by the way. I mean, he is actually going to have a Shrunken Head and him another 200 gold. So this tower is going to be pushed in, and he will have a Shrunken Head on the way. This is a level 11 Pebbles. He's hitting like a freaking truck and will be immune to basically everything in that sense. So all outer towers already destroyed in favor of Sacred. In fact, they're going to point to the middle lane, trying to catch somebody. The red power throw coming out. Rotten Grass going to be used, but here we go. Portal Key is a Frosty Glacius. He's going to be caught, and down he goes from Slicks right there. So it ends up being a hero kill on top of that. And the gold lead just continues to stay immense. 11,000 gold lead now, 4,700 experience lead. One port to the top, and his Wretched Hag is fairly low, pushing that. Luna comes in, and she will do her darnest to deny this tower. And I believe she should be successful on it, as she's going to tank the creep wave as well. So, again, stay green. It seems like things are coming together pretty nicely here. What about the Hellborn side? I mean, what about Trademark Esports? Still going the Nullstone route on Silhouette? You still think that's fine, even though what's going on here?
No, I would have definitely gone for a Shrunken. I mean, look at all the AOE damage that's coming out for you. I mean, Pebbles, Matt. There's so much AOE damage. Not to mention being able to get out of that Keeper of the Forest ultimate. Yeah, he can do that actually with his own ultimate, but you got to assume that in the midst of a fight, that's already up. Like you got to assume that the ultimate's already up and he's just ready to swap out. So you don't want to save it. Now, Shrunken, yeah, it's not the greatest item against Tempest, but it's good against literally everything else on their team. Yeah. So Nullstone, again, this is one of the few times where I'm just like, that is not an item pickup that you want to have. I mean, what point stun spell could you possibly really want to have that to be effective against? The only thing I can think of is a Glacial Blast from Tempest. That's it.
Well, if anything, you know, it's maybe for the later game with it going up against the Hellflowers or whatnot, or
but that's not necessarily going to come up from Pebbles, you know.
But yeah, no, I'm just saying, you know, if that's the logic, you know, it's
right.
Are you even going to get to that point at this rate? It's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, definitely that Shrunken Head perhaps would have been the better investment, but he does finish the Nullstone nonetheless, so at least he has something there. Like I said, the Shrunken Head on the Pebbles, you got all the items being added up here on the leading side, several Mystic Vestments being picked up even by most of the heroes, and they may try to start breaking into the base again. It's still early on, we're only 18 minutes in here, but look at this middle base tower. It's down to 280 life actually, and I don't even know if they have invulnerability, to be honest, up just yet, so we'll see here in just a second, I'm sure. As, of course, there's no barrier idle or anything just yet either here on the Legion side, but they are going to try to start making their way up to the tower. The Tree Dog's doing some damage. Of course, Master of Arms. Look at Magnus all the way pushed up. He's trying to maybe bait something out there. But tdM not having any of that. Meanwhile, at the top lane, Wretched Hag is pushing. Hag is trying any way to recover herself. She's currently sitting at about 230 gold per minute. Rotten Grasp connecting on several heroes there, but again, not the biggest deal in the world. And the push continues as there goes the Astrolabe heal. Pebbles, he's ready to jump in. And in fact, there you go. Master of Arms picked right off the bat. Magnus actually still does nothing right there, but MOA just died. Didn't matter. Down goes the tower. Now the Nacho Cheese Man here, the Rax, is now starting to drop. And they're going to still, of course, hold their ground. And I don't know if tdM is going to be able to hold this off much longer. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cool. Master of Arms, the lucky thing, the blessing in disguise, so to speak, because he's up so soon because he is only level 8.
Yeah. Gonna support MOA, so already up in about 10 seconds.
You still have some big ultimates. Keeper of the Forest ultimate, Tempest ultimate.
Everything.
Pebbles combo. Yeah, the Eruption.
Nothing
now, he doesn't
used, yeah.
He doesn't have a blink on Magnus, but I still think that's okay.
Oh, yeah. Stay green them and just sitting there, because if anything right now, you have a case of tdM. They're just sitting also in their base. I mean, it's not like they're farming elsewhere at this rate, so I think Stay Green is just fine with this. Now, the bottom and top lanes are somewhat pushing in here in favor of the creep waves for tdM, so that's the one thing you may need to be a little bit worried about. But other than that, not the biggest deal in the world. And there we go, sitting on a Master of Arms, actually. The freeze on top of that. And look at Pebbles on the back when he jumps on a Wretched Hag. Actually, Wretched Hag bursted down just like that. Defensive Master's call on a Glacius. He wasn't even being jumped right there. That was just a scare. Yeah, Master Varn's just in panic mode, clearly. Charge shot on a Magnus. He's now being chased out. Dead with a Falcon Punch. Oh, with the talent for it. And now Dead was in a lot of trouble. No root coming out. There's the... No, it was canceled, actually. Or they canceled it himself. Yeah, I thought for sure we were going to see a root right there.
That should have definitely come out there from Keisu. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. When you blink, when someone blinks in like that, they're very susceptible. And that's when you just need to focus them down. If you saw the ultimate did nothing to Magnus on top of the Astrolabe coming out.
Again, they're continuing to push. Pebbles will jump in and once again, Master Farms that target of choice. He'll just fall to the ground. Silhouette takes the stun in the background, and the Melee Racks and vulnerability coming out. tdM doing everything that they can, but it just seems like it's too much push, too much pickoff potential here on the Legion side. And they can only take so much of this, you would figure. I mean, where is tdM going to go from here? Is the big question right now. Steambath on the front lines. There's a stun on to Glacius. He's going to be touched by Pebbles. Pebbles is just rinse and freaking repeat. That blast on a Magnus right there. He stuns back in though. Out comes a root. Now Silhouette the focus fire. Magnus will barely survive. There goes the kill on the racks. Then the Tempest ultimate hitting absolutely nothing. So that was a little bit of a misplay. But anyways, Melee Racks down. The ranged racks now the next focus. Again, being low levels, they means they are resurrecting fairly quickly here. But they jump back in once again as we do see Slicks go back in. Noob G's in a lot of trouble. Deep at the Master Skull on the correct target this time. He's going to barely get away. Master of Arms himself, he's on the run. Magnus stunning back in. Actually going to tap it over the ledge, and I think State Green finally is going to have enough. So, yeah, missing that Tempest ultimate. They could have actually got a kill in a Silhouette, too, if they hit that.
Yeah.
But anyways, plenty of damage done nonetheless.
Yeah, that was very interesting plays by Chessie there, but as a whole, their team composition, like I said, they don't have the late game, but my God, did they have lots of early game aggression and team fight, and they're showing that right now. They're playing it really well. They're playing it exactly how they need to. They don't want to counter push. They don't want to farm up and be like, yo, just let me get this item. No, you just need to get your absolute core and start grouping up together. And that's what they're really doing.
Now, I'm very curious about this. A broadsword picked up on Silhouette. Assassin Shroud, Rift Shards, or even Barbed Armor. I mean... Where do you think Silhouette's going with this item? As actually he's going to be jumping right, trying to tree gobble away. Oh, he's going to be combo though, and Silhouette will be picked up. It don't matter where she's going. That bitch gets picked off. Tempest in the meantime will fall. Magnus channeling up that eruption. He's looking to jump in, but the lava surge is on cooldown, so not the most damage coming out from them. But Pebbles is still chasing. Nice defense, the Master's call. It ain't going to matter though. Power Throw snipes down Glacius. Silhouette just still sitting dead. Master of Arms on the run. Deadwood trying to turn some damage. Lava surge in though, and now Magnus falling back. Now Tempest did die there, so for the Legion team. And again, it looks like State Green may fall back, but the good initial pickoffs, at least on the Silhouette, happening.
Yeah.
And keeping the pressure up here.
Yeah, and not to harp on Chessie, but again, that's one of those situations. Is imagine if he had that ultimate up. Like, he could have easily gotten 2, if not 3 people in there. Kind of sucks for them. But again, the resilience and just being able to sit in these team fights for so long. Like, they haven't left. They haven't even gone back to heal. They have the regen from Heat of the Forest, his armor, his Nature's Veil. They have the Astrolabe, the double ring of sorcery, bottle to throw around as well. They can stay up here all day long.
Yeah, I just love seeing the Slicks. Jump in, get the combo, jump out. Jump in, get the... He's done it like 20 times, it seems like. I mean, what is he? Yeah, he's 7-1-4 so far in this game. It's just kind of a rinse and repeat combo. He has 3,500 gold saved up, by the way, so something big is definitely coming here. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Maybe he didn't purchase something like a Soul's Bulwark just yet, but meanwhile in the middle lane, Magnus actually catching Master of Arms. Tempest just joined the party. Kamasa put down the stuns on him. Freeze on the Keeper of the Force in the background. Silhouette will pour it out, though, as she was definitely in a very vulnerable spot, so no kill's going to come of that, actually.
Well, she has no ultimate now.
But the ultimate is down for another 100 seconds, so yeah, won't be able to use that. Again, I am pretty surprised that Slicks is not spending this 3,600 gold here, especially when you are pushing into a base as aggressive as they are. Seems like that would make sense, but...
You know, when he played Pebbles a lot for Frey, actually, he would always go for Elder Parasite, and it was one of my favorite item pickups on him.
Here we go. He jumps back in again. Rinse and repeat, man. Master of Arms are falling out. Deadwood Falcon Punch onto Pebbles, but he just tanks the damage. Short Connect goes up. Look at Silhouette being locked down. He's going to try to trigger grapple away. Will she get caught, though? Chuck is up for Pebbles. He chucks a little now. Pebbles does fall, actually, but Silhouette not going to be able to stay alive. She eventually goes down as well. So it ends up being exchanged. Tempest charging in. He wants to ult, you can tell, maybe. Nope, they're going to pick up Glacius, though. And he's going to go over to Wretched Hag. Nothing coming out just yet, though, as he takes a stun right there. Rotten Grasp is going to miss. But they're definitely in kind of an awkward spot themselves as State Green. But no, they're going to finish off the range tracks finally, it looks like, here at the base. This is just ridiculous, man. It's literally the same thing over and over and over again. Okay, finally, State Green will go back on their side of the map, it looks like.
Well, it seems silly to be like, I cannot believe they've been up here for so long. But honestly, it's a smarter move because the second you start to like let up here, and give this tdM team their composition of heroes some room to breathe. Like before you know it, I mean, Hag almost has their Hellflower.
Oh wow!
You almost have whatever item that is onto Silhouette. I actually really hope it's on a Rift Shards because I just don't think that that's what they need at this point. But you know, you're gonna have a Shrunken Head perhaps on a Deadwood. You just don't want to give them any breathing room, so to speak. Now they're looking like they're kind of sitting back and farming right now for SG. I think that's okay for the moment, but they shouldn't take too long. And there is a Soul's Bulwark up on the Pebbles.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that Demonic Breastplate eventually for him. Blink is finally purchased by Swindle Melons. He has that now. And they might look to get an initiation here onto Wretched Hag. They can spot him out with the Keep of the Forest animated trees, but no Zai is backing away.
Yeah, he still has a Soul's Bulwark defensive, by the way. I'm kind of wondering if he's why did I say that? There you go. He changes it, and we'll use it offensive now. Yeah, looking at that broadsword, hey, maybe Noob G is making a point that he's like in this Assassin Shroud lately. I mean, he won it last game, remember, on to Master of Arms, so maybe it will be that Assassin Shroud route here for Silhouette, perhaps. But
that might, in fact, be the worst pickup Silhouette could go for here.
So you're thinking Barbed Armor then?
No, I'm thinking she wants to go Rift Shards.
So you are thinking Rift Shards, even though you wouldn't want to see that. Okay.
Yeah, huh. I mean, it's a... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Assassin Shroud is good at all versus any pushing team. It's just not necessary. Like, you use that to gank and maneuver around, but you're not going to be maneuvering around when you're pit inside your base.
Well, stay green. They push out the top lane. Shaman's Headdress on a keeper, so no barrier idol just yet, but still he's got that. Again, they got the Soul's Bulwark this time, though, now, and that no doubt will help pretty big time. Middle lane, you mentioned this, Wretched Hag. She's actually very close to a Hellflower, actually, and kind of shows you the perseverance that Zai specifically has had, and he's managing to get up around 275 gold per minute. But again, most importantly, the Hellflower should be coming up here in the near future, and that will be a good tool for Trademark Esports to use. So, again, it's constantly been in favor of Stay Green this game, but tdM holding their ground and making a point that they aren't giving up just yet. And it most certainly is possible for them to make a comeback, especially with the lineup that they have, as that goes back to the whole mentality of this ain't a late-game team over here on Stay Green. So they're going to clean up the creep wave once again. Another Shrunken Head just picked up, this time on Tempest, actually. So he is going more of your typical route here on a Tempest. Picking up the Shrunken Head on top of the Portal Key. Plenty of creep clearing, though. We are seeing that. Master of Arms, but there. Speaking of Master of Arms, he gets jumped on once again by the two. He will fall right off the bat. He cannot buy back. The Shrunken Head was used by Pebbles. This tower going to fall. Deadwood jumps in, though. He doesn't give two shits about the Shrunken Head, but the support is there. The Tempest Ultimate, a big Tempest Ultimate right there. Hitting 4. He is going to be Hellflowered, though, by Wretched Hag in the background, but Deadwood's down. The Eruption doing damage, and it still seems like it is going to pay off with that Tempest Ultimate. Now, Pebbles is dead as well as a Luna, but Wretched Hag, she will barely fall. Silhouette trying to make something happen. Deadwood did buy back, I believe, as he is back in the fight. So I guess they will ultimately hold off the push from continuing here, will tdM. But
man, if the Shrunken Head had been delivered by Chessie, that would have been a full channeled ultimate. He had it on the courier on the way, but it did get canceled by Wretched Hag right away. He got a little bit of time with it, so that was good. But
interesting. Somebody voted to concede on tdM during that fight, actually, it looks like. And it was just passed. But
it was right after Minas died.
Yeah, so I wonder if just frustration there or something. But it ain't giving up just yet.
You know what's funny, too, is it seems every single time, not that it's, like, really hindered them that much, but we've seen Pebbles combo and kill them so fast that Mag actually blinks in and stuns nothing.
Yeah.
We've seen this, like, 4 times now. And
seems like he's better off sending somebody else this rate, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just this combo from Pebbles is doing so much damage, and also with the couple auto attacks he's getting on top of that. So goes for the old Helm of the Black Legion.
The good old 29-minute Helm of the Black Legion on Pebbles. Okay, he sold it. So I think he was hoping for that. He knows that we make fun of him every now and then for his build. So perhaps trolling us there, but he does eventually go a warp left, and that makes a lot more sense.
You know what's funny is it actually honestly wouldn't even be that bad.
Yeah?
It would just whatever to make him live long enough in these team fights, because like as you're saying, he's basically just jumping in, comboing, running around, maybe getting 1 or 2 auto attacks with his Shrunken Head off, and then once the cooldown is off, waits for his combo yet again. So, but yeah, the Demonic Breastplate is clearly the better choice.
You know what I just thought of too? Chessie got Hellflowered there in the ultimate. Either he didn't use the Shrunken Head.
He didn't have it.
Or he didn't have it. Okay, so I know he purchased it going into that fight, but I guess it was just still being delivered. So, okay, so that was just more so unfortunate there for Chessie that it wasn't there just yet. But nonetheless, still was actually, it was a damn good ultimate. I hit 4 heroes. The only one is Hag who usually couldn't stop it, but again, with that Hellfire she just purchased, was able to do so. I'm still intrigued to see what this broadsword turns into, if anything. I mean, maybe Silhouette was at a case she wanted to go an item because of where the game was at, but I wouldn't be surprised to see her not really use that broadsword now. At least for now. Bottom lane, Wretched Egg might be in some trouble. Magnus does hit with a great eruption. In comes Tempest, and down goes Zai right there. So that's probably the last thing Zai expected. He sees the top push happening, figures he'll counter push. Nope, Magnus and Tempest catch him. And he is now dead for, what, 50 seconds? He ain't buying back. That's big. I mean, he has the Hellflower. He's plenty of damage right now. We'll see if Stay Green takes advantage of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wretched Egg being dead, so...
I mean, he's dead for another 39 seconds. And not the longest. It's not the longest time, but I think it's enough time to get enough damage onto these racks to really start a team fight and perhaps capitalize and take the second game here.
Yeah, remember, I mean, this goes back to tdM. That's right. They're up 2-0 right now. This could be it for Stay Green, but the lineup that they played, and here we go, jumping in. Yes, okay, Magnus jumped over here on Glacius. Red power throw connects. Down goes Glacius right off the bat. Tempest jumps on a big ultimate. Now the log will no, it doesn't cancel it. So there you go.
I think he missed him.
Or did he miss him? Okay. Anyways, they just get annihilated, and I think that could be the finish right there.
Yeah.
Assassin Shroud was purchased by the way by Silhouette. Not that it matters. GG well plays are called, and Stay Green. They take game number 2, and that means we are staying alive here in the series as a Stay Green, of course. And we do have another game coming at you. So, like we saw in cycle number 4, the same exact situation. tdM up 2-0. Stay Green have won the next 2 games, forcing that final game. Perhaps we have a repeat here in performance, and wouldn't that be fun to see a final game? So
yeah, and it's cool with the lineup that they were basically given to them by tdM because they didn't pick a jungler for tdM, and both Keeper and Tempest. Now you look at it like it's a little iffy because okay, we can't fall back on that carry if things go sour. But if there's any team that's going to approach this this kind of lineup in the way that they should with this early game aggression, it's Stay Green. They like this kind of lineup, so giving this to them might not be the best route to go in the next game for tdM.
Yeah, that's definitely a great point to bring up. I mean, it was also just Stay Green's lineup was just so fun to watch. I mean, talk about we knew it, they knew it, tdM knew it. It was all about the aggressive early game, the grouping up and push, and they played it very, very, very well. You got to give credit to tdM. I mean, at the same time, they definitely hung in there for quite a long time, and there were moments where it seemed like maybe they were going to be able to pull through, but it didn't happen. Stay Green takes the second game, I should say, and again, that means they stay alive. So we right now have a 2-1 hero kill advantage in favor of Trademark Esports, and that means well, we're going to our next game. So tdM still 1 game away, but Stay Green trying to keep themselves alive and force what would be a 4th and final game here in this best of 5 series. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, going to take a short break here, but we will be back with what I'm sure is going to be yet another great HoN matchup here between Stay Green and tdM. Sit tight. Next game coming up soon.